Hi guys, I just wanted to hop on real quick. I'm making or correcting papers today that we did last week on the plot structure diagram, which most of you did a really fantastic job on that. So that was awesome. We're having most of you are doing pretty good, but there's just a few that need a little bit more reteaching on the point of view. Okay, so let's just take a look at that, and I will let you go back to that point of view CFA and look it over and make some adjustments and turn that back in. Okay. Um, Formatives, remember, are do you understand what we're doing? And it gives us an opportunity to make little adjustments before we get to where you have to do some sort of final summative. Okay. So it's like your coach at basketball practice might talk to you about how you're driving to the hoop, or might talk to you about your form when you're shooting free throws. Okay. So that's what this is. We are just adjusting a little bit, and not all of you need it. So I'm putting grades in the grade book. If you have a 3, a 3.5, a 4, you know what you're doing. Okay. If we have a 2.5, you might need to adjust just a little bit. Anything lower than a 2, we need to look at some of this stuff. Okay. So when you're reading these passages, the first thing that you want to do is decide, is this person talking about themselves? Are they giving instructions? Or are they telling a story about someone else? Okay. So if they're telling about themselves, it's going to be first person. That is when you are telling a story about yourself. You're going to look for any of those keywords that you would use if you were talking about yourself. That's where the I, the me, the why, or the my, not the why. I, me, mine, we, our, us, those types of things. Okay. The example is we went to the store. That's in first person. You're telling the story about yourself. Second person, that's when they're talking directly to you, like instructions or a recipe or a self-help book or a choose your own adventure book. Okay. First, you should wash your hands. Okay. So if they're giving any sort of instructions, or it sounds like a to-do list or something like that, you're going to know that it's automatically second person. Okay. So if you have either one of those first scenarios, first person or second person, you're done. The only thing you have to do is go down to the explain part and say, I know it was first person because they used I. Okay, it doesn't even have to be a complete sentence on this one. I just want to know, do you know the difference between first, second, and third? Okay, so if it's first or second, you're good to go. Just go down to the explain section and tell me they used I, they used me, they said the word, they were talking directly to me, something like that. Okay, now here's where we're getting a little bit muddled. Okay, if you get into where they are telling a story about someone else, then you have to ask yourself, how many people's thoughts and feelings do I know? Okay. If you don't know anybody's thoughts or feelings, if you do not know what they are thinking or what they are feeling, it is objective. Okay. It's like, remember the example was like in court, they only want to give you the facts. And sometimes they'll say, like, Your Honor, I object. Okay. So objective. An object, we talked about objects and how they don't have thoughts or feelings. Okay. So if you don't know any thoughts or feelings, that's objective. The example is he walked down the street, the man drove by and yelled, Hey, watch where you're going. Okay. Now you might think this guy was mad at him because he stepped out in front of him. You might think that this guy was annoyed with him because he wasn't following the crosswalk or something. We don't know that. We don't know that for sure. Or he might have just been concerned with this guy, like, hey, watch where you're going. Okay. So we do not know for sure their thoughts or feelings. We just know what happened. The guy was crossing the street, somebody yelled at him. Okay, that is objective. Okay, limited. Remember we talked about limited. When you are limited to one item per household, it means that there are some parameters, there's some restrictions. When you are limited in third person limited, you are limited to only one person, one character's thoughts and feelings. Okay, so the example says, sad that his girlfriend had left him, Ben wasn't paying attention as he walked down the street. The man drove by and yelled, hey, watch where you're going. Okay, again, we don't know what this man is thinking, but we know that Ben was upset It says that he was sad. He was sad that his girlfriend left him. Okay, and so just adding a few words, see how that changes that? So in the first one, it's basically the same thing, except for we don't know any thoughts or feelings. This one, we do know that Ben was feeling sad. He was sad that his girlfriend left him. That is a feeling. Okay, so that makes it limited. We only know what Ben is thinking. All right, so omniscient, omni means all. Okay, so anytime you know more than one character's thoughts or feelings, you know it's going to be omniscient. Okay, still it's in third person. They're telling a story about someone else. You're going to look for those keywords, he, she, they, them, those types of keywords. But then you need to think, how many people's thoughts or feelings do I know? Okay, in this one, sad that his girlfriend had left him. Ben wasn't paying attention as he walked down the street. Okay, that's one. We know how Ben's feeling. He's feeling sad. Tom was having a bad day. As he was driving by Ben, Tom tried to startle him. Hey, watch where you're going, Tom yelled intimidatingly. Okay, so we know that he was having a bad day. And he was trying to intimidate him, trying to startle him. Those are all feelings. Okay, so because we know what Tom is thinking and feeling, and we know what Ben is thinking and feeling, it's omniscient. Okay, if you still have questions, when you get in there, if you have a 0, you have a 1, you have a 2, I'd like you to go back into that worksheet that we did on Friday, that CFA. I'd like you to adjust it and resubmit it. Okay, I haven't graded all of them. I'm working on 6th period right now, but I'm seeing some patterns that we're getting into. Okay, so make those adjustments, resubmit it, and I'll relook at it. And if you're still having questions, let's talk about it tomorrow. Okay, all right, have a great rest of your night, guys.